I don't think I should make this video. Well, what are you doing? You got a popsicle on your wrist. Well, I kind of like it. Got a popsicle on the wrist. This is the Seiko SLA051 on an orange tropic. At first, it was kind of popsicle-like, but it's kind of growing on me. I don't know. It's growing on me. So I want to talk about my gardener, Francisco, today. Oh, boy. I've known Francisco for about 22 years. He's a great guy. He's one of these guys, we'll start talking. We just talk forever. We talk for like an hour, and our voices get louder and louder, and I can see the neighbors looking through the windows. What are those dudes talking about? Are they ranting again? Well, we're talking. We're talking about a lot of stuff. We talk about our families. We talk about food. We talk about health. We talk about inflation. Talk about whatever. And so I'm 62. Francisco's 57. And he said he's never been to a doctor. Never. He says, I will not go to a doctor. This just blew my mind. He says to me, I will never go to a doctor because a doctor will make me sick. And I'm thinking about this. And to paraphrase Francisco, he feels that whatever illnesses he might have inside of him, his body's managing them okay, and that if he goes to a doctor, those dormant illnesses will be awakened. And they'll come out like demons coming out of a crypt if he goes to a doctor. When he said that to me, I thought of those old cars. I mean, cars that have never been worked on. They haven't had a tune-up in 30 years. They haven't had an oil change in 30 years. They haven't had an antifreeze flush. And they run. And then as soon as you do an antifreeze flush or an oil change or something, then they don't run. They don't run anymore, and the reason is that the ecosystem that it was stuck in for all those years, it was used to it. And, don't mess with the ecosystem. And I think Francisco fears that. Now, he's 57. He told me he's only had common cold and flus throughout his life, and that's great. And here's what I was thinking about. I have health insurance, and I never see a doctor, and I'll tell you why. My health provider for the last 3 years, Kaiser Permanente, I think Kaiser Permanente provides insurance for like 80% of people who live in California. So, for the last 3 years, they're understaffed. They can't see me. If I want any kind of dialogue with my doctor, it's either through email or a phone. There's no face-to-face anymore. And I have students who work at Kaiser. They're telling me what's going down. What happened was during COVID, a lot of the staff got traumatized. They left. They just bailed. They got traumatized. They're understaffed. And so I can't see any of my doctors. And then, I was talking about it with my wife. Should we go to another healthcare provider? Well, I have students who work in the healthcare industry. It's like this everywhere. And if you talk to people, one of the things that's happening is that patients are not very pleasant. They're not nice. They're verbally and physically abusive. And it's hard to work in the medical profession because of that. It's really hard. I remember 10 months ago, I had a kettlebell situation. I fell. I was doing kettlebell goblet squats, so like 80 pounds, high reps, fell, thought I had a hernia. I didn't, but I was getting an ultrasound, and I was joking around, talking to the tech, the ultrasound tech, and somehow we got to this topic, man, and people are verbally and can be physically abusive. You got to have like security on the premises. And I mean, I'm 62. A large portion of our country has lost its mind. I've never seen anything like it. There's a level of chaos and anger and smoldering discontent that I've never seen. And, my favorite movie of the last 15 years is World War Z. World War Z, I think, was a prophecy of what was to come. And it has come right now. Now, I am very fortunate. I'm on the online watch community. I have a YouTube channel here, and so I meet people on YouTube and in other places. Not too busy online platforms, but I am on YouTube. And I find that my fellow watch obsessives, unlike the World War Z crazies out there, are much more pleasant. There's much more dialogue going on without rancor, without unpleasantness, without friction. And, there's a few reasons for that. Number one, I think, in my experience, watch obsessives are smart, they're educated, and they're curious, and they want to learn, and they want to listen. And if you want to learn, and you're curious, and you want to listen, that's always a good thing. That's always a good thing. The other thing is this. I think we're smart enough to know that if we're out of line, if we get out of line, I think we know that some of the YouTubers out there are smart. They're not going to suffer fools kindly. They're not going to trifle with people who are behaving incorrectly, and you'll be expelled. And if you're expelled, where are you going to go? Who's going to take you in? I mean, as watch obsessives, in a way, we're misfits. We don't really belong anywhere. We're kind of anachronisms. We kind of live outside of time. How could we live outside of time? We're obsessed with time. We're always looking at the time. What's going on? I don't know. But I think we know better. Who's going to take us in? We're all orphans. We better behave. And then, and then finally, this is a paradox. I think the reason why we're well behaved and we're relatively sane in this crazy world where you can't get a face-to-face with your doctor, I think the paradox is this. I think we know we're a little bit crazy, and that keeps us from going completely crazy. I think if we didn't know we were crazy, we'd become unhinged. We'd be unbearable. I think we all know we're a little bit crazy. I mean, I know I'm a little bit crazy, and I try to articulate that on this channel here. So that's about it, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, yesterday I made a video, and a lot of people don't know me who commented on that video, because I noticed there was a lot of, I made a video. What was the title of that video? It was, The Watch Hobby Ruined My Life. Sounds like something I would say. For those of you who know me, you know I like to do thought experiments, and sometimes I engage in hyperbole. And sometimes in the midst of my hyperbole, I'm actually trying to tell deep truths, as deep as, well, they're deep to me. And I mean, I noticed that the traffic was different for that one. There were a lot of people who I'd never heard of before commenting, and they took that presentation perhaps more seriously than my general ironic personality would merit. But I don't know. I mean, geez, man. Did watches really ruin my life? That's exaggerated. That's an exaggeration. The bottom line is I just do things really intensely with great obsession. I mean, yeah, I am a watch obsessive, but you should see me. I'm 62, and I am obsessed with my kettlebell workouts. I write them all down. I record them. I'm always looking at YouTube videos on kettlebell training. I just don't know how to do anything in an unobsessive way. So I'm not blaming the watches. I think those of you who know me, you kind of knew that. But then I also know, I don't know why, but the video I made yesterday, it got a lot of new traffic. I don't know why it did. I don't know anything about algorithms or YouTube content. I don't know. I actually had fun making the video. I think when I'm making YouTube videos, whether they be about watches or my friend Francisco or healthcare or World War Z, I think the best things about making a video are giving order out of the chaos and having a sense of catharsis. Yes, it's therapeutic, I guess. Ladies and gentlemen, let me know what you think, man. Are you seeing your doctor face to face? Are you being polite in your watch online forum communications? Let me know, ladies and gentlemen. Until next time, I'm out.